Matt Coleman keeps Texas's NCAA tourney hopes alive. Texas baseball drops a pair of games in Minute Maid. And have you all ever heard of sofa chair jumping? All this and more on College Crossfire.
Let's do this.
All right, let me explain why Aaron Judge is getting it. You can boo me all you want, but I want to see UCF Knights in the playoffs. I want to see them.
The New York Yankees, Los Angeles Dodgers, were robbed.
Okay.
Take a bow. Take a bow.
This is all chaos.
Welcome back into College Crossfire, the hottest debate show on the 40 acres. I'm your host, Zach Levin. Tonight we have a great show planned for everyone. First, let's meet the panel. On first base, we have the returning champ who replaced Herman, Mr. Sam Berman himself. Sam, how you doing?
It's great to be here, Zach. I gotta say, I'm hoping to keep the throne warm for next week, but I'm happy to be back on the show, and I'm excited to see what's up.
Well, we will see. Well, you were a rookie last week. We have a new rookie on in the second chair right here, Mr. David West. David, how you doing? Are you excited to be on the show?
I'm feeling great, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I'm very excited to have you on the show. And on third, we have our woman champion from last semester, Miss Jaxie Pidgeon. Jaxie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Ready to take another win for the ladies.
Okay, there it is. Well, great, and good luck to all. Well, what a turnaround it's been for the Texas men's basketball team. 2 weeks ago, it looked like Shaka Smart was red hot on the hot seat, but after a 5-game winning streak, including wins against 2 ranked opponents and a last-second buzzer beater in Norman last night, and now looks like the injured Horns are on track to sneak into the NCAA tournament. So, overall, what has your reaction been for the past 3 games? Anybody can jump in.
I gotta say, Zach, I am very excited about this Horns team. They've gotten a little bit lucky at points, especially last night's win over Oklahoma. You know, that Coleman 3 was a sign from the gods, of course, the gods of sports. But they've been playing some great defense, locking down Texas Tech, locking down Oklahoma, locking down TCU and Kansas State as well, and they got to keep doing what they're doing. You know, a little improvement on offense wouldn't hurt them, but they look good aside from that.
Yeah, definitely. Other than last night, and even last night, only holding them to under 50 points. Defense to around 50 points. Defense has been a key for the Longhorns during this stretch. David,
I gotta say, what I'm seeing from this Texas basketball team is a team that's playing inspired, playing for one another, a team that's really, they've had great guard play all season long, but I think that's come on for them as of late is their forward play. You know, the Ham brothers, I don't even eat pork, man, but I love I love the Ham brothers. So, Royce Ham and then Brock Cunningham, they've really come on as of late, and I think that forward play has really propelled them into, a possible tournament opportunity.
Yeah, definitely after those injuries with Jericho Sims and Jace Febres, Royce Ham and Brock Cunningham, as you call them, the Ham brothers have really stepped up for this team. They show a lot of hustle every night. Jaxie?
Yeah, especially on the defensive end, those new standout players, Royce Ham and Brock Cunningham, both even last night against OU had 11 rebounds, which is huge for the program. So they definitely still need to fix their offense a little bit, though. I do have to say they've had around 8 games where they're shooting less than 40% from the field, one even as low as 29%. And again, last night against OU, they had 33% from the field. So they have stepped it up on defense, definitely, but they still need to improve offense.
Yeah, definitely. If the team's able to sneak into the tournament, as I said, offense will need to improve, or they might just be one and done like Shaka's been recently at Texas. So everybody that round is going to start with 2 points, so everybody's going to start with 2 right there. Over this stretch of wins, Andrew Jones has stepped up big time for the team as the team has been dealing with injuries. The redshirt junior is playing his first full season after beating cancer and proving why he was a highly touted recruit coming out of high school. So my question is, how can this team build around Andrew Jones, and can they build around Andrew Jones? Anybody?
I'm really excited about Andrew Jones. I think he's been playing off the wall, but I also think he definitely needs some help. I think the games where he's done the best, there have been players around him who have gotten hot as well. For example, that game, I believe it was against Tech, where he went off and had 22 points. That was an anomaly. Most of the other games, it was Ramey having 12 points aside him, or Baker getting hot for 21 points. And when teams figure out that it's just Jones on the court, like OU did, he seems to struggle a little little bit more, and somebody else is going to have to step up. So I really hope that Greg Brown comes and commits to Texas and adds another piece for Andrew Jones to build around and build with.
Yeah, no, definitely obviously thinking in the future, Greg Brown, the highly talented recruit out of Austin, it would be big because the Longhorns currently have nobody in their recruiting class, and to get Greg Brown, obviously a top 10 player, would be big for next season. David?
Yeah, I definitely believe in Andrew Jones. I think his story, of course, off the court, I feel like that galvanizes the entire UT community. And then on the court, he's with his play, 22 points two games ago, setting career highs. And I feel like that's really, galvanizing his teammates as well. So I really think, of course, you can build a team around Andrew Jones. However, I think you got to build this team around Brock Cunningham.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think you got to build a team around him. A freshman, forward, a bit undersized, but I like what I've been seeing. I feel like he's a great energy guy off the bench. Again, a freshman, so he has time to develop. Under Shaka Smart if he's still coaching here, and yeah, if I had to pick, I'm saying Brock Cunningham.
Yeah, definitely. Brock Cunningham has been a spark plug for this team, and a guy, like you said, he's only a freshman, so he can only keep improving, but his hustle has really led to being a fan favorite, honestly, in Austin. Jaxie?
I think they very well could build a team around Jones. However, it's never ideal to build a team around one player. With injuries being a pattern for this Texas team, I think it's more important now than ever to work on having more of a team that's well-rounded rather than just that one player. And don't get me wrong, Jones has showed his leadership capabilities as well as his scoring and rebounding abilities, which definitely helps set the tone for the team. However, it's important, very important, to have a versatile roster that doesn't just rely on one player.
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely. I mean, Andrew Jones is a great player, but like you said, you need to build more pieces. That's why the Greg Brown comment before was a great comment, because you can't just rely on one guy to get you 20 plus every single night. You're not going to have a winning formula there. After that round, we have Jaxie with 4, David with 5, and Sam with 4. We move on now from men's basketball to women's basketball. Last week, the Lady Longhorns picked up 2 wins in Big 12 play after a stretch of losses. Tomorrow, the team will face number 2 Baylor in Waco after getting blown out of the gym earlier in the year at the Frank Irwin Center. So, how can the Longhorns keep the Baylor game a close contest? David or Jack, do you want to jump in first?
For me, I think just keep executing what's working thus far. I mean, I feel like with Texas women's basketball, what they have here is a healthy balance of team leadership from their upperclassmen in Joyner and Sutton, and I feel like they also have that young, ferocious tenacity in their underclassmen, talking about Taylor and Audrey Warren, she's also been phenomenal. Again, lowerclassmen, and I feel like they've been playing great all season. So I think having that healthy balance of veteran leadership and an upcoming ferocious underclassmen, I feel like that could really mesh. You could take that to Waco and definitely get a victory.
Yes, the Longhorns definitely have a very solid combo of upperclass and underclassmen that have really worked well during Big 12 play. Jaxie?
I think they need to spread the floor, slow down the game, and definitely not force shots. A lot of the shots from the last game were very forced. And so I wanted to pull in Kim Mulkey for a second. From the last game on Charlie Collier, she said, "I'd rather have a 6'5" shooting a 3 than posting me up all night." And that's exactly what Texas needs to do. They need to force Baylor to be on the outside. I'm not saying they're bad from beyond the arc by any means, but they're more dangerous in the paint with Dee Richards and Lauren Cox. So if they can force them outside, I think that'll be a big help. Also, Joyner Holmes needs to score. She needs to score. She had 4 points last game against Baylor, which is unacceptable for a 6'3" girl. Unacceptable. Against any team, 4 points.
Definitely agree there, Watch. I mean, it's lesser of two evils. They're both good from the 3 and in the paint, but obviously if they are a little worse outside on the 3, let them force up that shot. Hope they make it. Sam?
I'm all about giving the ball to the hot hand here. Celeste Taylor has dropped 22 and 27 in the past 2 games, and I think let's just keep going with what's working. She's clearly helping that offense tick, and that's going to be key because against Baylor they only put up 44 points, and in the past 2 games they've averaged 76 or 77 points each, which is huge for that team.
Celeste Taylor has had that hot hand. Has been a key contributor to the Longhorns team right now, and you need her to be big this week, tomorrow in Waco. So after that round, we have David with 7, Jaxie with 7, and Sam with 6. On to the last question now. Last week, Texas softball traveled all the way to California and had a very impressive showing. The team won 4 out of 5 games. The highlight of the weekend was the team picking up 2 key wins against 2 of the top teams in the country in Washington and UCLA, 1 and 2. The team is off to a 20-3 start. So my question is, what were the keys to beating UCLA and Washington for the Longhorns. Jaxie, let's start with you.
Yeah, this team is very well rounded. The combination of great pitching and the clutch at-bats are definitely what led to these top team victories. And also, they're a threat on both sides of the ball. So some pitchers, Miranda Ellis, Shaylin O'Leary, and Courtney Day all had incredible weekends on the mound. And I think the team ERA is 1.97, so that's pretty good. And then the top hitters, you have Lauren Burke, Taylor Ellsworth, and Mary Ayukopo, who threw in some home runs, some RBIs, definitely put Texas on the board. So that definitely helped them win this game. So I wouldn't say there's one key thing by any means, but the combination of great pitching and clutch at-bats that led Texas to their wins.
You know, definitely hard to pick out one thing because they had a great time hitting the ball, but also the pitching has been excellent for the Longhorns. Sam?
That's right. Zach, I was telling them they had to pick up their hitting last week, and they really, really did it. Lauren Burke with that 3-for-4 outing against Washington, and Miranda Ellis, again, with a good outing on the mound against UCLA, and she went 2-for-4, I believe, and had the save against Washington as well. They've looked a lot better at the plate, and that's really helped carry them and made them #1 in the country.
Yeah, no, definitely getting big performances out of Lauren Burke has been huge for the Longhorns. David?
Yeah, I definitely think this team is starting to really recognize that offensive prowess that they can have on the rest of the nation. Like you guys mentioned, Lauren Burke, home runs in both matchups against both UCLA and Washington. So, and she being from Oregon as well, you know, I guess maybe a West Coast home advantage going on there. But yeah, she's been phenomenal. I think her alongside with, like you guys mentioned, Ellis, you know, I think they have a great team moving forward, and I think they can do some damage as well.
Yeah, no, definitely Lauren Burke's been in that Pac-12 environment. She was going against some Pac-12 teams, wanted to step up in front of her home crowd. So now after that round, we have David with 9, Jaxie with 9, and Sam with 8, but it's still anybody's game. When we come back, the panel debates what went wrong in Minute Maid Park for Texas baseball and picks their dark horse to take home the Stanley Cup. Welcome back to College Crossfire, folks. Let's quickly recap the score. We have Sam with 8, David with 9, and Jaxie with 9. Remember, it's still anybody's game. Texas baseball started out the season undefeated and headed to Minute Maid Park to prove that the start was not a fluke. However, the Longhorns would lose 2 out of 3 games in Houston and drop another one yesterday to Arizona. So, overall, what went wrong for the Longhorns in Minute Maid Park? Sam, let's start with you.
Well, Zach, I gotta say, the LSU loss is inexplainable. You know, nobody expects to keep that form going forever. But their pitching has really dropped off since we talked about it last. You know, that 9 runs given up against Mizzou, understandable, even though there are some questionable ump calls. But nonetheless, you can't be giving up 9 runs in a baseball game like that. And they made it close at the very least, but it's kind of brutal for them. But I gotta say, it's their pitching that's been letting them down the past couple days.
You know, definitely the pitching's been an issue, and nobody really expected, you know, the Mizzou loss was definitely tough, letting up those 9 runs. David?
For me, it's not so much what went wrong with the Longhorns. It's more so I feel like they got outplayed by LSU. I feel like LSU had a chip on their shoulder getting swept last season, and I feel like they came in with a chip on their shoulder again and just outplayed them straight up. And then as far as Missouri, yeah, I think Texas at that point beat themselves. You know, had 5 errors in the game, and I feel like that was a hole they almost got out of, but I feel like it was too much to overcome, and I feel like that's what caused them to go 2-3.
Yeah, I definitely agree with a lot of those points out there, David. Jaxie?
That first game against LSU, 16 strikeouts. That's a lot for one game. And you mentioned pitching has fallen off too, but when you strike out 16 times, it's not ideal. Arkansas win was fine, nothing really to complain about, but that last game against Mizzou, again, was kind of surprising because Mizzou's not that good. So they had, in that very first inning, a wild pitch and a throwing error in the same play to give up an unearned run. So it was a bad start all around, and I think it came full circle that they started with a loss and ended with a loss in that series.
Definitely, you know, losing 2 out of 3 there was not great for the Longhorns, and there's definitely things they can improve on from those 2 losses. I'm going to give the point to Jaxie here. I really like the point of that you brought up with the 16 strikeouts. Obviously, pitching was a big concern. You understand the runs getting cut up, but if you're not able to get on base, that's a major concern for the Longhorns moving forward. So, Jaxie, you are going to get the point there. Now let's get into some Major League Baseball. This offseason has been dominated by the Astros sign-stealing scandal. The incident has rocked the baseball world, and the Astros have been criticized all offseason for their actions. On Monday, Reds pitcher Trevor Bauer was intentionally tipping pitches to Dodgers players in an effort to mock the Astros. So, is tipping pitches the right call to avoid sign stealing? David, we're going to start with you for this one.
I personally think so, man. I'm all about mind games and getting a mental advantage, and I think that's exactly what he was trying to do here. Trying to get that mental advantage on his opponent with the tipping pitches, and yeah, I think it could definitely combat the sign stealing. It's so unfortunate we're having this conversation, but you know, hey.
Take away the title. That's what it is. I agree. Watch, it's definitely a little of a mind game there. Not cheating in a way, but definitely getting the psyche of the batter out there. Jaxie?
No, I think it ruins the fun of the game. I really do. Most baseball stems from the advantage that the pitcher has, that the hitter doesn't know what is coming their way. So no, I don't think tipping pitches will sway them from stealing signs, because you have to remember what went wrong mostly in 2017 was that they stole them using technology, which is 100% cheating. Also, Stanton mentioned that if he would have known what pitches were coming in 2017, that he thinks he would have hit 80 plus rather than 59. So.
Interesting. All great points there, Jaxie. Sam?
I think this was a gutsy move by Trevor Bauer. I understand it's spring training, and if he continues with it, I respect him. He's one of the most outspoken guys in the league, and I don't think he'll have many followers unless he gets some serious success with it. So I'm going to say no right now, but creds to him. If it works out for him, then I think people might hop on that bandwagon and see if the Astros are truly watching the tips and see if they're still cheating.
Definitely. You know what? I agree with all those, and you're going to get the point there for that one, Sam. I think, watch, it's a gutsy call. He's trying to do it. Trevor Bauer's definitely one of the more controversial pitchers with a lot of actions that's gone on, and why not he try the tipping pitches for right now there. So, Sam, you will be getting the point. Now we move on from the diamond to the ice we go. The NHL season has been an exciting one and have seen many of the familiar faces go to the top and be top contenders for the Stanley Cup. However, there are some new teams, and in the NHL playoffs, there's always thrilling and exciting upsets that occur frequently. So, which dark horse team can you see making a deep run in the playoffs? Jaxie, we're going to start with you.
I'm going to go with the Vegas Golden Knights because you can't win a game without great goaltending, and so they have Marc-Andre Fleury, and he's already won 3 Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins, so that's a big help. They also just got a new goalie, and he had 32 saves last night, his first shutout for the Golden Knights. So I know they surprised people in 2018 making it to the Stanley Cup, so I think they can do it again.
Definitely the Golden Knights are hot right now in the NHL. Sam?
I really like the Islanders. Lou Lamoriello knows how to do a lot with a little, and I don't like him, but Barry Trotz has done a great job with this team. Guys like Anders Lee and Johnny Boychuk and Derek Brassard are really playing with the chip on their shoulder, and they've had some good goalkeeping and some great defense, and it looks just set to continue. They know how to stifle teams.
Hey, watch, I would love that. I'm an Islanders fan myself, but we'll see. They need to get in first because they're struggling lately. David?
I'm gonna have to go with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I feel like as of late, they've really come strong. They've battled adversity all season long, injury after injury after injury. Nonetheless, this team is 4-2 in their past 6 matchups, and I think they have an advantage going into the playoffs. So I'm going to go with the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, the Maple Leafs are a great choice. I mean, when you have John Tavares and Austin Matthews there, those are some great players. And David, I like that. You're going to get the point there for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So David gets the point. I think they can have a deep run and make some havoc in the playoffs when it comes to it. So David gets the point. So that's there for this round. At the end of this round, we have Jaxie with 10, David with 10, and Sam with 9. When we come back, the panel how they would adjust the MLB broadcast experience, and what sport was the weirdest sport you have ever seen out there. Welcome back into College Crossfire, and now it is time for the rapid fire round. Let's quickly recap the score though. We have Jaxie with 10, David with 10, and Sam with 9, but everybody knows it's still anybody's game, so that's what it is. And remember, this round, every question is worth 2 points. That is why. So in the NBA and NFL, the broadcast teams have become a valuable piece of the experience and have brought a unique combination of entertainment and knowledge to the game. However, the MLB has been lacking in this department and has really hurt their game overall. So if you guys, had to decide how to change the MLB broadcasting, how would you enhance that experience?
Well, Zach, I gotta say, I really liked the old MLB broadcasters, the previous generation, your Phil Rizzuto's, your Jack Bucks, so to speak. They really know how to do a play-by-play and keep it interesting. As Phil Rizzuto would say, "Oh, holy cow!" You know, he'd go on tangents in the middle of the show, in the middle of the game, and it was really brought a whole different side of the game. And I think they got to bring that back.
So bring the old faces back. That's what you're
right,
saying.
yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll go ahead. I think bring little kids on air. It is like a crowd favorite when that little kid gets up there and says something and you're like, that was adorable, or you just start laughing because it was like so funny. So I think definitely bring kids on, engage with the audience a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, bring little kids on, get maybe some even more younger viewers than they already have. David?
All right, so I think MLB needs to put their foot down and really punish the Astros. I feel like they haven't done a great job thus far. I mean, I feel like we need to take that championship away. Hey, man, suspend all of them, you know what I'm saying? I think they should, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I really don't, I don't think the Astros, I just feel like the punishment for the Astros has not been significant enough. Let's punish them and, really make a statement with them.
Watch, I think the Astros should be punished as well. I don't know necessarily how that might enhance the broadcasting experience. However, I do agree that there should be a bigger punishment. But I'm going to give this one to Jaxie here. I do think, you could have a nice little thing with a kid segment on there. You never know. There could be a kid in the stadium you bring on, he says something about the team that he likes. So Jaxie, you're going to get the 2 points there. We move on now. This weekend, Texas women's golf will compete in the Darius Rucker Intercollegiate Invitational in Hilton Head, South Carolina. The country star is a die-hard sports fan and a big supporter of the South Carolina Athletics. So, if you could pick one musician to name a golf tournament after, who would it be?
Oh, that's
I'm going to go with Adam Sandler.
Ooh.
I just feel like Adam Sandler, man, comedic genius. Obviously, Uncut Gems. I'm plugging a lot of different shows right now, a lot of movies. But, yeah, I think he'd be a great guy to name it after. I don't know. I just feel like, hey, Adam Sandler,
I'll go with Kenny Chesney. Country legend. I'm just picturing his little monument with his hat on there. But what a great performer, and I think it'd be a great name.
Another country star right there. Sam?
That's right. I'm going to go a little out of left field for this one. I'm going Billy Joe Armstrong, the lead singer of Green Day. I think he would look great on the cover of a golf tournament. A little goth-themed golf tournament. A little eye black and some eyeshadow.
That is definitely an interesting answer. I could not imagine that. I can see a little more of a realistic one for Adam Sandler. So, David, you are going to get the points there with Adam Sandler. So, good one there. You get the points right now. So, you get the 2 points. We move on, though. Over the weekend, a video surfaced on social media of a man flying down a ramp in a sofa chair at the Nitro Circus, competing in a sport, yes, a sport called sofa chair jumping. The video went viral all over Instagram and Twitter and made me wonder, what is the weirdest sport you guys have ever seen? Something that, think of the first thing that comes to your head, maybe.
I'm going to go rugby. I feel like rugby is very interesting. Obviously, I respect the guys that go out there and compete, but I don't know, man. It's just very interesting to me. It's yeah, I don't know.
Okay, definitely different. Definitely not one of the more popular sports in America, let's say. Jaxie or Sam?
As a former rugby player, I'm only taking slight offense to that comment. Only a little bit. But, Zach, I got to say on this one, I love those high-heeled marathons that people run where they all stand in their running gears and their short shorts, and then they put on their high heels and run and get blisters for 26.2 miles. I got to respect the dedication, and I know it's not always competitive, but it's definitely interesting to watch.
That is definitely a very interesting and definitely hurting a man with those feet right there, Jaxie.
Well, if the chair's a sport, then mine's definitely a sport. Underwater basket weaving. Yeah. Okay? I don't know if you've heard of it, but you literally go underwater and weave a basket. It's offered at some schools as a class, so that is the weirdest sport I've ever.
Yeah, that definitely makes my face work up saying, what did I just hear there? But that's weird enough for me. So, Jaxie, you're getting the 2 points right there. And that means that tonight, Jaxie is our winner. So give it a round for Jaxie. Do you have enough time for FaceTime, Clark?
Absolutely.
We do. Awesome. So, Jaxie, take it away.
Okay, well, this FaceTime is going to be dedicated to Luka, 100%. That man has saved the Dallas Mavericks. I went to a game right after Dirk left, and it was probably the saddest thing I've ever been to. So quiet, and I was like, this is so weird without Dirk. But Luka has totally brought it to the top. Kristaps up there too, but like Luka, everyone knows Luka. He's young, he's killing it out there. All-star game already. I love you, Luka. Hallelujah.
Awesome. Yeah, again, congrats to Jaxie on winning tonight. Next week, we will have a special College Crossfire episode for everyone, as myself and the panel will be getting in the vacation mode and getting in our best spring break attire. So you definitely do not want to miss that, folks. Thank you again, and congratulations to Jaxie one more time. Everybody give a quick round of applause. Thank you for tuning in to the show tonight. Be sure to check out the 1-0 Sports Show on Fridays at 9 a.m. and College Press Box every Monday at 9:30 p.m. for the latest sports on the 40 acres. Don't forget to follow at TSTV Sports on social media. And for all the panelists and people in studio and Master Control, have a wonderful rest of your week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Great job, man.
Great job.